And that really kind of brings this conversation to a point, is if you write with a generic voice, you'll sound like everyone, and everyone is quite forgettable. But if you write in your voice, that becomes unique and true and authentic to who you are. And I think, like I said before, our purpose in life is to find our true voice and be comfortable with that.
You've transitioned from, you were in one world where you were kind of building brands for people, and you sort of jumped out of that world, or transitioned out of that world, into helping other people build their brands. That's where a lot of your kind of energy and work goes. Can you talk about a little bit about like why you chose to do that, and what inspires you to keep kind of sharing these things, like the superhero framework, with the world?
Yeah, there is a confluence of a couple different things happening. One is that my desire to seek a different way of making a living or finding my purpose in life comes first from the business in which I created and ran for 20 plus years. I saw things moving in a direction in which I didn't like. We saw that the budgets were getting smaller, the frequency of job opportunities were getting fewer, and the challenges around creating this work, it was just a more competitive environment to do less creative work. And so when you start to see that, for me at least, I see the iceberg coming. I don't want to wait, so I'm going to steer the ship. And I was looking for something else. In that pursuit, I ran into an old friend from Art Center. His name is Jose Caballé. And I wanted to learn about the world of web because I knew software is eating the world. There's not going to be concern that software is going away. We're becoming increasingly a dematerialized culture. More and more, the physical things are being replaced by digital things. In fact, today, when you're working in web design, it's called product design.
How do you see your brand and yourself fitting into the future? Like, how do you like kind of link those two together? So you've got the Incredible Hulk, and the Incredible Hulk has built a company. How do you link those two things together?
One of the things I learned on this adventure of brand building was my previous company, Blind, was the composite of a lot of personalities. I was not the only director, as actually I hardly ever directed any TV commercials at that point because I hired an incredible team. We had a roster of 4 or 5 directors who needed work, and for them to shine, I needed to recede into the background. But when we started creating content on social media, I could not write in my voice because it doesn't represent this diverse group of people. And so what we wound up doing was we wrote things that are very corporate, super generic, very safe, had zero personality. And my friend Yo Santoso works in the branding space. She says it like this: people do not fall in love with corporations, they fall in love with personalities. And as a company, we had zero personality. It was almost written like a press release, everything that we did. So when I went and started the Future, Jose and I ultimately, we have our disagreements. We break up in terms of our partnership. I start over again. And this time in 2016, I'm going to start writing from my heart. I now know who I am. I'm writing content, and it's a company of one. It's me, and sometimes I get help from an assistant. And so I'm creating most of the content. I don't have to worry about misspeaking or misrepresenting anyone. And here's the funny thing, surprise, surprise. As I'm writing in my true, authentic voice, people start jumping on board. They start following us in droves. The channel, the Facebook group starts to grow by crazy numbers. So when we eventually got help, they just started to write in the same voice. And the pushback I got was, why do you write in the I? Should you not be writing in the we? It feels very self centered. And I said, because we are not writing this. I am writing this. This is my opinion. And as long as it's working, I'm going to keep writing like that.
Mm.
And here's the cool thing: when we brought on a social media manager who started to take over the Future's social media account, because I was so clear in all the other things I've said and wrote about, she was more easily able to adopt the voice, the tone, and the personality of me, such that it confused my wife. My wife would pull up a post and she would show me and she goes, "Did you write this?" I looked at it. It's like, it sounds like me. I think I've said something like this, but I know I did not post that. So she said, and her name's Elle. Elle is really good because I've not seen many people who can write in your voice. And that really kind of brings this conversation to a point is if you write with a generic voice, you'll sound like everyone. And everyone is quite forgettable. But if you write in your voice, that becomes unique and true and authentic to who you are. And I think, like I said before, our purpose in life is to find our true voice and be comfortable with that. And so it's done wonders for us. It's how we've amassed a really large following. And I'm going to stick with that approach. It is working and is working well. Now, if you look at corporations like Hyatt or the Marriott hotel chain, what's the personality like? Do we know anything about these corporations?
Mm-mm.
No, we don't. And I have this little theory, right? The theory is this: a founder has an idea, they're passionate about changing the world, they have a big dream. And so they start building a business, and their relationship with clients, the audience, and the consumer is very close. We know who you are, we know what you stand for. Wonderful. The company starts to grow. And as it grows, layers of management get added in. Friends of friends get hired. At some point, strangers get hired. So we're getting farther and farther away from the intent and the philosophy of the founder. At this point, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and customers have no idea who founded it, what they stand for, what their beliefs and values are. So what happens? The company hires an agency. And what the agency does is they don't create the brand. They just go to uncover the brand. So some people who are in the brand space, they are quick to point out, we don't make brands. That's not what we do. We go and find the brand that's already there. We're rediscovering the brand story. So what happens to corporations is they lose their way. They lose their story and the connection to why this company or this service, this product existed in the first place. You got to find the founder's story.
So if someone likes this idea, so they're thinking about themselves and their personal brand, and they're building a company. How would you advise them to put that founder story in and lock it into the company, and then allow other people to contribute? Because it's, at some point you need to almost let go and allow other people to sort of come in and add their piece and build on. But like you said, you don't want to lose that thread. Like what advice could you give to people when they are thinking about this themselves?
I think there's a lot of us who want to grow our social media following, who want to increase our influence or to be perceived as an authority figure in our space. And if you want to be known, the first thing is you have to learn to know yourself, to know thyself. That should be our highest order. And I think I've said this now 3 times, right? Maybe in different ways. To know yourself. Because once you know yourself, then you can allow others to raise their hand and say, you know what? I like your vibe. I want to be part of your tribe. Because we're like minded individuals. We share a similar worldview. And then what happens is an idea starts to turn into a community that turns into a movement. And like how Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman formed the Justice League, they're basically saying we need to stand for truth and justice, or whatever it is, and we want others to join us. And naturally, Lex Luthor and other people create the Legion of Doom, the exact mirror opposite, which is we want to take from the world. And so the lines in the sand have been drawn. So if you are clear about who you are and you create content around that, naturally you're going to attract and draw to you people who believe what you believe. And I think that's how your mission and your ideas spread and become stronger. The more people you enroll in this narrative, the more likely it is that you gain traction in the world. Because an idea that no one cares about is a very lonely idea. But an idea that's shared becomes powerful. And it's the sharing of the story that makes the idea more powerful.
Hello YouTube, I'm Ross Drakes. I'm the founder of Nice Work, and thank you so much for your time at watching this video. If you're seeing me, it means you made it all the way to the end, so we've at least done something right. If you enjoyed this, we'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And I think more important than that is if you know someone who might need to hear this, if you think someone out there who needs this message in their life, please spread the link, because it makes a huge difference to the world, and it allows us to fulfill our message of making sure that there are no more bad brands in the world. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next video.